Hello, my name is Amanda. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a dream that I had and how it relates to who we are, where we belong, our home, and the heart, what I call the great heart of the universe. And last night, I'm going to close my eyes probably for part of this so that I can really go back and try and share what I saw and experienced. I was first in the house where I'm staying now. I've been staying for about a month in a really lovely, just a really lovely Irish countryside house. And it's very clean and it has many rooms. And the dream started being in that house. And as I walked through the house, it started to change a little bit. And more rooms became visible to me in the dream space. And they were so beautiful. They were so beautiful, but not just physically, aesthetically beautiful. Each room had almost like a glow or a memory or a remembrance for me of how I have felt in peak points of my life, especially as a child, being in special places. And so as I walked into one of the rooms, there was a woman painting the room, and there were some really beautiful carvings and statues and plants, and the ceilings were really high, but the feeling in the room was really welcoming. And the woman turned around and said to me, "Oh, finally you've come. We've been waiting for you." And I just walked around, and some of my favorite things were in the room. There was a piano, and there was a huge fruit bowl with all my favorite fruits, and my favorite colors were being painted on the walls. And more than the contents and the aesthetics, it was the belonging. It was like that whoever had been creating this space for me knew me almost better than I knew myself, and had put together some really special things. But more importantly, I started walking through the halls of this house that just kept slowly growing and opening new hallways and rooms. I came across a room where a man was walking out of the room. He said that this was his room. He had some health problems. He looked like he was struggling with his weight, and yet the glow that was coming from him, and the smile and the welcome he was giving to me, he really felt like he had a sense of belonging in this house. And it looked like his room was set up really carefully with all his favorite furniture and things. And the sense that I got from this man was a deep belonging, regardless of the struggles that I could see that he was having. And he was there with a friend who was staying in the room, belonged in the room next door to him. Then it got very, very beautiful. I found myself walking into another room that had a lot of beautiful things as well, but it didn't have the essence that the first room had, or that the people had that I had just met. It had a lot of beautiful things, and as I walked close up to one of the tables that was set with lots of great food and and other pretty stuff, there was a little sign, kind of like a reserved sign in a restaurant, and it said Samsara. It said Samsara, and I know many of you guys know that that's just, the wheel of illusion, the wheel of karma that many of us are on before awakening. And even during awakening, we can get caught up into that wheel of samsara. And I felt the inner urge to keep walking, that this wasn't a room that I would stay in. And so the next room that I walked into, which is kind of why I wanted to share this video, was like a beautiful, kind of like a tall dome-shaped room, really big, many people. And there were some white statues, and one was the statue of the Mother Mary. And yet the statue had a personality, it had an essence. It was more a symbol than the real Mother Mary. And she was moving, and she was breastfeeding a baby. And one by one, many people were coming up to her and leaving a gift. Some people were leaving some flowers. And what was really touching was there was a little boy who was dressed in, I would say kind of dressed in rags. And he had gone to collect some wood for the fire for his mom. And don't ask me how I knew all this. I just knew it in the dream. And he went up to Mary and the baby, and he left some of his firewood. And at that point in the dream, I was just very overwhelmed with emotion. I was very overwhelmed with emotion. These people who were there were not the high and mighty and the rich, although some of them were there, but they were bringing their best. They were opening their heart to give these gifts. And it didn't seem like a sacrifice to any of them that were bringing gifts to the mother and the child. It seemed as though as they gave from their heart things that were precious to them, their own hearts were opening. And I was just watching, but the whole time the mother, I'm going to cry, the whole time the Mother Mary was looking at me, watching my reaction to watching the scene. And I could feel her energy, I could feel her essence as she watched these precious people come as they are, come as they were. This was a really important part of the dream, that people who come and open their hearts to serve and to give, they are coming as they are, and they are accepted as they are, not when they become perfect, not when they have achieved a certain status of healing or health or the perfect weight. It's really about the openness of their heart. How closed or how open is their heart? And just at the end of the dream, I wasn't really noticing the people anymore. I was just noticing Mary. And, you know, Mary, just a side note, Mary in the Bible, mother of Jesus, human being. But in higher dimensions, in Western esoterica, there's many more layers and information about the being of Mary. She's considered a representation of the great mother of the universe. And in many depictions, we know she has the image of the Sacred Heart with thorns. She has the ability to hold the passage of pain and hold the passage of heartbreak, and yet still keep her heart open. So that part of her is in us. It's wanting to unfold. And even the name Mother Mary, Mare, we know that that kind of refers to the great sea, the word the sea. There's many more mysteries around her name. Anyway, so side note, I'm not just talking about the Mary, Mother of Jesus in the Bible, but the actual qualities and the essence of this force of the universe. And, you know, she looked at me and we kind of had a short telepathic exchange, and she was holding the Christ child. And again, in esoterica, the Christ child is so much more than the human being of Jesus that held the Christ energy. Christ is a evolutionary, heart-opening force of the universe that is really growing over time, and especially at this time of awakening. Buddha, Krishna, many great masters carried the Christ force to some degree within them, and that's why we love them. And Jesus the Christ is known to be the one that carried it in the greatest degree. And so she was holding this Christ child, and she said, this is your home. Not specifically this house, but this realm of reality where you belong, where you're loved, where it's familiar, and where there's this constant opening of the heart and giving. And she kind of explained that many people lose themselves in giving and serving others, in showing up for other people, because it's not pure. It's to be accepted, it's to people please, and they give themselves away. But when human beings show up to give and serve other people, but also honor themselves, honor their boundaries, honor the time that they need alone or taking care of themselves, when they can balance those two, the heart can open to a degree that couldn't open if they were only serving others and only doing things for other people. And that there are layers and layers. What I saw in the dream were layers of the heart center that I had access to at that time. But the heart is really a shortcut in many ways. When we open our heart to ourselves and we accept ourselves and come as we are to ourselves and with ourselves, We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be, super far along our healing journey. We can take a shortcut and honor ourselves, honor our boundaries, honor our life. And as we do that, we honor other people and we serve other people in their lives too. And this is a shortcut to being in the heart center and to connecting with the Christ force that is within you, not the religious, dogmatic, church Christian Jesus Christ force, but the force that he carried and the force that is available to all people who are courageous enough to come as they are and to open their heart to themselves. And so I was with her and she was just showing me this and showing me that personally, a couple of the decisions that I'd made in my personal life around, honoring my space, honoring my time, were catalysts that allowed me to be in this dream and be in this space and connect with her. And so all of you who love to love and love to serve and have served many people for most of your life, maybe. I know many of you guys are empaths and highly sensitive and know how to support others. This is a real call to continue to do that, but in a great balance of supporting yourself, in saying no when you're tired, in creating, a life that really honors and respects the beingness of who you are and the Christ that is inside, because the Christ force wants to grow in our heart and wants to change reality and transform us, and we'll do that on our behalf when we can open our heart to ourselves as well as the people who are around us, to love and serve them as well. And so I stayed with her as long as I could, and I was waking up slowly. Her statue was white. She moved very slowly, but it was really a representation of the beingness of the true mother in the higher dimensions, the true Mother Mary. And she's here for all of us to gently comfort us, to receive our gifts, big or small, and the gift of ourself, the gift of surrendering our life to the greater good, the greater force, the Christ force, the same force that Buddha and Krishna and many other great titans chose to carry as they gave of themselves. They really gave of themselves, but they also knew how to honor themselves as well. They didn't unnecessarily people please or allow others to take advantage of them. And in doing that, they modeled how we can be. So, yeah, whatever you need to do to open your heart, especially to your own self, your own, human, bumbling, unhealed self, that self is welcome to come as they are in the heart center and in the presence of Christ and in the presence of the great Mother of the universe. They are not waiting. Divinity is not waiting for you to be a certain way or reach a certain level of knowledge or healing before you are welcome there. You can just show up and open your heart, but it can be painful to open our hearts. We've all closed them in many ways for a reason, but during this time of great awakening, we're learning how to open them layer by layer around and with the right people, but starting with ourselves, starting with respecting and honoring ourselves in new ways that might feel scary. Yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening. And may you be right close with your heart and your self-honor today. And all the respect that you deserve as a human being, you respect it just as much as everybody else that you're always loving and serving and supporting. Journey well.